Most SEO agencies charge $3,000 a month for what I call black box pricing. We'll rank you, trust us. No line items, no math, no way to check the work. That's not a pricing model. That is a hiding spot. So today I'm going to answer the question that nobody in my industry wants to answer. How much does SEO actually cost? Down to the dollar. My agency's real prices, real costs, real margins. And here's why the hiding works. It used to cost my agency over $600 to produce a single optimized article. Today, that same article costs under $100. Costs collapsed across this entire industry, and most agencies never told their clients. The price stayed at $3,000 a month. The difference went straight into their pocket. By the end of this, you're going to be able to look at any SEO quote and know exactly what you're paying for, what it actually costs to deliver, and whether the number's fair, whether you're the one paying or you're the one getting paid. Now, I want to show you something. I typed in how much does SEO cost into YouTube, and here's what came back. Not very much. A video from 4 years ago, a pricing guide with 200 views, a pile of shorts that nobody's watched. And the rest are all paid ads. That's it. One of the biggest questions in this entire industry, and there's basically nothing on it on YouTube. And that's not an accident. Nobody answers this question because answering it means showing you their margins. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. But first, I want to establish the two ways that agencies price SEO. The first one is what I call scope-based. Here's what we do, here's what each piece costs, and here's your price. You can see every line, you can question every line. The second is this black box. $3,000 a month, we'll rank you. That's the whole proposal. Yeah, they might have a few pages of fancy words and graphics and images, but they don't tell you what they're going to actually do. And here's the thing, the black box isn't lazy, it's engineered. No line items means no audit. No audit means no accountability. They ranked one snow removal company in Miami back in 2021. They put that screenshot in every proposal since, and your $3,000 a month is funding somebody's Game of Thrones rerun marathon. That's the business model. And this box right here, and that is most SEO pricing. You put $3,000 in. Something happens inside. You're not allowed to look. Nobody would buy a car this way. Nobody would hire a contractor this way. But business owners sign 12-month SEO contracts built exactly like this every single day. So if a proposal lands on your desk with no line items, that's not a quote, it's a hiding spot. It's time to walk. And if you're the one sending those quotes, I get it. It feels easier to sell, but it attracts clients who churn the second results slow down because they never knew what they were buying in the first place. Now, before ChatGPT, my agency had a couple dozen copywriters on staff. Every article was researched, written, edited, reviewed, all by humans. And by the time it was published and ready to go, it was costing me over $600. That was just the reality of producing good content then. But then AI hit, and that same article fairly quickly dropped to under $200. And today, with the system I built called the Core 30 Agent, it's under 100. 600, 200, under 100. That's an 80+% collapse in the cost of the single biggest deliverable in SEO. And that collapse didn't just happen to me. It happened to every single agency on the planet at the same time. So what did the black box agencies do when their costs fell off a cliff? Nothing. The price stayed the same. You can't see their costs, so why would they pass the savings on to you? That spread went straight into their pocket and the monthly report looked exactly the same. Here's what we did instead. Same price, more articles. When my cost per article dropped, my client's content volume went up. That's it. That's the whole move. So if you're paying an agency right now, ask yourself one question. Have my deliverables increased since 2022? Because the answer is no, you're not paying for SEO anymore. You're funding their margin expansion. And if you're the one running the engagements, passing those savings into volume is the single best retention weapon you have. Clients who can see the output are much less likely to churn. Now I get it, under $100 an article is exactly the kind of claim that a snake oil guy makes. And it's not AI slop, but let me prove it. So here is every single step my agency does for a single article. Okay, this list is the same whether a human does the work or an AI does it. At the beginning, an SEO expert sets up the target, the keyword, the service, the intent, the page it needs to support. Then we build a content brief. A copywriter writes the article based on the content brief. A manager reviews it. Then a copywriter gets built. A copywriter is going to research and write the article based on that content brief. A manager reviews the content, then schema and images get added, a video is generated, a developer publishes the article, internal links get placed and verified, an outbound link gets placed, and then we source an external link from another website pointing back to that article. The last one costs $25 to $30, and it happens for every single article we publish. No exceptions. Every single article we publish gets a link pointing back at it. Okay, so that's about 9-10 steps. It takes about 82 minutes of combined labor across 5 different roles, not including the copywriting, which is by far the most time-consuming step. Now, when every single one of those is being done by a person, that's what $600 looks like. So here's what changed. The Core 30 agent does the first 5 of those in a single pass. The setup, the brief, the writing, the schema, the images, the publishing, one pass. So what does a human still do? The review, the QA, and the external link. That's how $600 goes to under $100. And I want to be straight with you. The steps don't disappear. All 9 still happen on every article. They just get dramatically faster. How the agent actually pulls it off is a whole other video by itself, and I'll show you that at the end. In fact, the software often does a better job than our human writers used to do because it can spend the equivalent of hours researching the topic to make sure that it's writing content that is informationally additive over what's already on Google search. That ensures that the content is high quality, gets indexed, and actually improves your rank. So here's your move as a business owner. Don't just ask an agency, hey, who touches my content? Ask, what does each step cost and who verifies the work? They go quiet, that's your answer. And there are 2 failure modes hiding in that silence. An agency running AI with 0 human review. That's a different product than the one I just showed you. And an agency charging handwritten prices for AI productions? That's a margin grab happening to you in real time. If you're the one building the stack, your stack is your cost. Automate steps without dropping quality, and that's your entire pricing advantage right there. Okay, so here's the obvious question. If one article costs under $100, why does my agency have a minimum of $2,400 a month? Fair question. And the answer is the exact spot where most new agencies go broke. So here's the math. My agency's minimum engagement is $2,400 a month. For that, you get 12 articles every single month, each one going through all the steps I just showed you, each one with its own external link. And we're going to manage your Google business profile. We're going to do a Google News press release every single month. Those help your rankings, and it helps AI tools like ChatGPT recommend your business. And you're going to get a list of additional hyper-local link opportunities every single month. Charities, youth sports teams, sponsorships in your area, all of these that will link back to your site for a relatively modest sponsorship. Now here's the part that I haven't seen very many people say out loud. I run a 50% gross margin on that. There it is, and I'm not going to apologize for it. That margin is the account manager who answers your calls. It's the QA on all dozen articles. It's the agency still existing next year to keep doing your SEO. An agency with no margin either cuts corners or dies, and either way, you, the business owner, lose. And here's why I can't go below $2,400. Managing a client costs the same, whether you're getting 12 articles or 4. The strategy calls, the reporting, the communication, that's all fixed. Go below that floor, and the only place left to cut is the quality of the actual work. So we don't do that. Month 1 will run slightly fewer articles because there's setup work that replaces 3 or 4 of them. The GBP audit, optimization, the content plan, landing page, same price. We just shift the work toward month 1 activities that don't repeat. And if you need more than 12 articles because you're in a more competitive space, the price moves up in a straight line. More articles, more dollars, same math, no mystery multipliers. Now, I took this exact math, every role, every pay rate, every minute per deliverable, and built it into a calculator. You punch in your team's rates and your time per task, and it spits out your real cost and what to quote, depending on what you want your margin to look like. Now that's inside my school group. I'll put a link to it in the description. You can grab it right after this video, because right now you can already do something powerful with what I just gave you. Take any SEO quote on your desk and reverse engineer it. Does that $3,000 buy 12 articles, GBP management, and links, or does it buy a monthly report and a prayer? You can answer that right now. And if you're the one setting prices, you price from your cost up, never from what feels right down. That's how agencies quietly go broke. Now, everything I've shown you so far assumes one thing, that more good content fixes the problem. And honestly, for most businesses, it does. But sometimes we need to quote way more than $2,400, way more. And you need to know exactly when that's legit and when you're being played. So not every business gets fixed by throwing more content at the problem. So here's the scenario. Say a business comes to us, they have 500 pages indexed on their website, and their Google business profile is ranked 20th if you're standing in their lobby. So think about that. You're standing at the business's front door and it still won't show up. That's not a content gap. That's honestly Google deciding your website is spam. And you cannot publish your way out of that. Adding 12 more articles to a site Google already distrusts is pouring water into a leaking bucket. The fix is an audit, a content audit. So we run a full screaming frog crawl of all of the existing content, and then page by page, we figure out what's on the site, what's thin, what's duplicated, what's hurting you, and why Google flipped the switch. Even with AI helping, this is usually going to cost $3,000 or more. It just takes time. It just takes resources to do this the right way, because you're not paying for production anymore. You're paying for expert diagnosis. It's the difference between buying parts and paying the one mechanic who can tell you why the engine keeps dying. Okay, so here's the dividing line, and this is the single most useful filter I can hand you. A legitimate higher price will always come with a reason you can ask about. Here's the problem, here's the work, here's why it costs this. You can push back on every piece of it. A black box just quotes higher and says, trust me. Same dollar amount, opposite species. One is a diagnosis. The other one is hope. Okay, now, the single biggest reason I can price this way at all, transparent, scoped, and still profitable at $2,400 a month is the system I mentioned previously, the one that took my article cost from over $600 to under $100. I told you the Core 30 agent handles 5 of the 9 production steps in a single pass: the setup, the brief, the research, the writing, the schema, the publishing, the video, all of that. And I said that how it does that is its own video. So here's that video right here. If you're building this into your own SEO operation, whether for your business or for your clients, this is the system that makes sub $100 articles possible, which means it's a system that makes this entire pricing model possible. Go ahead, click here and check out that video. That way you'll never again confuse real agency content with copy pasting out of ChatGPT.